Hello again, Ian Studio with Mastermind Games, back with Malifaux and some sorrows. These are more woes. Their names should be self-explanatory and are also part of the No Shelter Here box set. Matte White, which is an Army Painter war paint. There's 3 of them. I'll basically be doing one of these on camera. I'll have a similar color scheme to the Poltergeist I painted earlier. Not quite. Essentially being done as one big lighting effect. So, starting that off with some nice, and that happened. Nice solid coat of the white here. Very simple, very straightforward. So this will be done rather quickly. Drying times notwithstanding, anyway. You need a brush suitable to the job, and for a larger load like this, a larger brush is just fine. But in most cases, you want to use something fairly small. And I just dropped it. Need to touch that up. Well, they are spirits. They are not necessarily undead, but I would have to double check the keywords. Okay, that's done on the first one. I'll apply the other 2 off camera and move on in a bit. Okay. Uniform gray. It's another Warpaints color. Just going over the base, trying to avoid the actual model that I just finished getting the base coat on. And there we go. Apply to the other 2, and then once it's dry, I can start shading. Alright, now time to do the main lighting effect here. Going with Cyan Blue 09117. These things being sorrows and all, tied to the emotion of sadness, and blue being the most common color associated with that emotion. Thin it out with 1 part water to 1 part paint. Maybe a little more since it is more of a lighting effect. The key on this is to leave some of the white showing through, even if it's a bit thin. And for some reason, the paint's trying to run away from my palette. And you be careful with areas like this, because when you're going this furiously, it's possible for a little bubble to form or a film, and you want to make sure that gets popped if it happens. So it didn't happen on this one. So apply to the other 2 and move on. Alright, last shade. Stormy Gray 09088. So Some of the blue did get on the base, obviously, and that's alright because these guys are supposed to be glowing, so why wouldn't they give off light to their surroundings? Thinning it out, 1 part water to 1 part paint. Just carefully going around the base, trying not to hit the model. So the bottom of these models are perfectly flat, but the basing is not, despite my best efforts, at least at the time. So that's that one. Get the other two, then I can start details and highlights. Alright, time to do a detail pure black 09037. This is going on the eye sockets and the tongues and mouths. So I'll just get one of them on camera and go from there. This is done essentially as a base coat. Brush moist but not overly wet. Okay, apply to the rest, and when it's dry, I can highlight. Alright, first highlight is going to be Ghost White 09063. Using a ragged feathered brush, and I can use a fairly good size one on these guys. That should do. Straight paint, no water. Then rubbing most of the excess out on a paper towel until it looks like there's almost nothing left, just like that. And then lightly dust the model going against raised areas. Being careful around the tongue, but the eyes are sunk in, so I don't have to be as cautious about them. Maybe should have used a darker blue to shade, but this was about the darkest blue I had. Not too bad. Apply to the rest and move on. Alright, last highlight, Misty Gray 09090. And dust in the base, being careful to avoid the model itself. And there we go. Apply to the rest, and then just 2 more steps and finished. Second to last step, taking more pure black 09037. Switching to a flathead brush as well for this. Now, the majority of my painting is done with round brushes, and all the brushes I use for dry brushing were once round. Became feathered and ragged with use. Now just lining the base. Being careful not to hit the basing. Now if I had been using flock or sand, I would be doing this before applying those materials. But with this, I just put a layer of sculpting putty in the recess of the base and sculpt a pattern into it while it's still wet, and then once it's dry, I glue the model on. And there we go, I just need to apply that to the rest. One more step. Alright, final step, matte white. I'm just going to number the backs with simple Roman numerals, so I can tell them apart easily and clearly. While many Malifaux cards have a picture of each individual sculpt, some don't. And alright, so 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. A trio of sorrows ready to unleash unholy terror. That's the end of the No Shelter Here box set. Starting a new Malifaux box set next time. Until then, I am Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games, signing out.